Good day and welcome to this edition of Saint Sports. My name is Dominic Papa, and yes, indeed, it is busy at the college. A lot of great things going on, a lot of sports happening, several teams going, and I'll tell you what, St. Clair is doing a phenomenal job on the playing surfaces, but also hosting all of these events. Uh, the staff has just been so incredibly busy, and they make it work just like clockwork there. So it's really nice to see that all happening. Great for the athletes and the teams, and certainly great for the fans that are following Saints sports. Good show coming your way today. We'll check in with the first place St. Clair Saints football team. They are a perfect 7-0 after their win in Hamilton on the road. They'll close out their schedule this upcoming weekend. Also, the men's baseball team, will check in with them as they continue a strong season as well, sitting at 7-1 in the OCA loop. Coach Roberto Duncan will join us shortly. I'm going to start things off today, though, with the cross-country team. Of course, we talked to Coach Paul Boots last week, so we're going to get him back on again here this week. Good day to you, Coach Boots. Thanks for doing this with us. You're at practice right now as we speak, correct?
Yeah, it's a busy time. Yeah, it's okay though. Hopefully you can hear me. That's good.
Yeah, we can hear you good. You look even better, so it's a great thing. You're getting ready for the biggest meet of the season, correct? The OCAs.
Yeah, well, that's at the end of the month, but we do have one this Saturday. So we're in London for the Fanshawe Invitational, which is a nice flat course. Although we do like the hills, but this one's a little bit easier, and it'll gives us a chance to see how they do in some flat terrain. So we're looking forward to it.
Okay, so I guess you know what you mentioned this next event in London with Fanshawe hosting it. Don't like Fanshawe because they're London. That's okay. It's a Windsor London thing, but always great programs there for sure. They do a great job at Fanshawe. But I guess and you're so very experienced in this, but pacing the team, getting to peak at the right time. At this point in the schedule, Coach, where are they at, and do you see the progression you want leading into the OCs?
Yeah, absolutely. For the girls, our girls finished 4th last week, but we had one of their girls was coming off of strep throat, which is something pretty tough to come off of. So we really didn't have her run hard. We do think it's going to be a really tight race for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the girls at provincials. And, our goal is obviously to be on the upper end of that. And so we're looking forward to that. And, we're just starting to get into the speed work. We kind of work right through this one. It's not too common where we have meets back to back on the weekends, but this is one of the rare occasions. So we're still going at it pretty hard even today.
All right. Well, I'm sure you go hard at it every day when you work them over. No doubt about that. The results say that, anyways. But I want to talk about a little bit, Coach Boots. You have some key veterans back on both sides of it, with the women and the men. But you bring in some new runners, some new athletes. It's always so important in any sport. I don't care what sport it is, and I'm sure it's no different in cross country. Team chemistry. A lot of people don't realize how important team is, even though it's somewhat of an individualistic sport. There's still that team element to get that chemistry, and make sure you got it to where you want. How important is that, and how do you think the chemistry is on both the men and women's side here?
That's a great point, Dom, and it's tough to force chemistry down down the team, and you hope it happens naturally. I mean, we do some things on the side and some sort of functions with the team where it helps morale and camaraderie, as you say. So I think we're pretty good. I think they kind of hang out on the side. They go to football games. They've been to a couple football games this year as a group. They've hit a couple of baseball games and all that kind of side stuff. It makes a significant difference. It really does. It's very important, but we kind of hope it happens naturally. And this year it's going well. And, they do have a nice chemistry, and we had a nice, we like going away for the first meet of the year, an overnight trip because the team gets to hang out and kind of do their thing. So, I think it's very important. I really, really do. It's tough to force. That's all.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you, Coach. In any sport, like I said, I think chemistry is certainly an important ingredient to success. And you look at a lot of any team in any sport that's had championship runs, things like that. The chemistry is always something that's very strong. So I think it's very important in any sport. With that said, Coach, again, you mentioned the OCAs coming up. The Canadians are not too far off.
Right.
The weather. I got to talk about the weather because obviously the elements are always something in this sport that play a factor. We've been thrust into the fall really quickly here. I love the fall. I think it's a beautiful time of year. Being that the transition from summer to fall has gone really quick here, it's supposed to warm up again a little bit next week, but right now we're right into the fall. And do the runners like that? Is this something they can feed off of?
They love it. Yep, our guys love it. When we did have the minus 40-degree weather when we ran at the Nationals a few years ago, and our guys ran great. Even when we won the national championship, it was an absolute blizzard at the start of the race. And, even last week in the warm weather, it was not super warm up in Seneca, but, I'm pretty sure you saw the results.
Yeah.
Our top guy won the race, looked amazing. And I didn't even know this, Dom, to be honest with you, but I just found this out. The guy that came in second has been in 2 Olympic Games. He represented, the refugee team. And so Sheridan picked up 2 of those runners. So, Tyler Jones is beating, basically both guys that were in the Olympics. And Rick was 5th and Matt LaFleur was 7th. And, the other Olympian, I think, was 9th. So, it's a tough competition when you have former Olympians in there. And to be honest, I was surprised, but we're right in there.
Well, I think it's great. And you mentioned your guys, Tyler Jones. I've always been so impressed with him, and I really think if he chooses to pursue some running after his collegiate career, that he might be able to find a spot at a very high level of competition. So we wish him well, whatever he does. He's going to do well with whatever he does. Just an outstanding individual. But
he's got quite an engine. He literally runs about 150 kilometers a week, which for the listener and the watcher is like, did he say what I think he said? Yeah, it's 150 kilometers a week. It's a marathon every 2 days.
That's amazing. Yeah. Great to have that kind of guy on your team, though, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. He's got a unique engine. We do like to give the guys a day of rest a week is kind of what we kind of push that. But yet everyone's different. So Tyler's not a huge fan of taking a day off. I mean, he does. It's impossible to force him, but we kind of really want him to do that. But he doesn't care for it. He prefers to just run. So everyone's different. That's the thing about cross country is, you have to treat everybody the same, yet at the same time, you have to treat everybody different.
All right. Coach, I'm going to let you get back to practice. I appreciate you giving us some time here today. We're going to follow up with you after the OCs, see how things gone, and get you ready for the Canadians. But sounds like the team's in good shape right now. So continued success and good luck this weekend.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dom. I appreciate it.
All right. That's Paul Boots, the hard-working coach of the cross-country team at St. Clair College. I want to switch over sports before we get into men's baseball. I do want to update you a little bit about women's softball. Wow. That's all I can say about this team is wow. They're a perfect 12-0 this season. In those 12 victories, they have 7 shutouts. Their next 5 games are on the road, which I think maybe a good thing. I don't know, but I do want to remind you that they'll be hosting the National Women's Softball Championship at the college starting on October 7th. Of course, We Digital will be bringing you some of the games, if not all of them. And it's going to be just an incredible tournament. 8 teams that'll be there throughout the country. And no better place to host it than at the college with their new softball stadium. And also they'll be playing on the football stadium. They'll have a makeshift diamond there. St. Clair just doing things so progressively. It's amazing what's going on there. But the women's softball team, make no mistake about it, one of the top-ranked teams, in the country right now. and sitting at a perfect 12-0. They defeated Durham this past weekend at home. Durham is usually one of their big rivals. They shut them out in both games, and they're just impressive. It's they're firing on all cylinders right now. So that's the women's softball team. The other baseball team, the men. Always love talking about this team, and certainly have a premier head coach there running that team. Just a great guy and pretty good player at one time as well. I remember watching Coach Roberto Duncan play baseball with St. Clair, and it was pretty special to watch that. Coach Duncan joins me on the show. Pardon my cough, Coach, but I got a little tickle in my throat here. I'm going to take a drink of water.
Go for it.
There we go. Now I'll be able to talk to you. 7-1 right now, Coach. You're battling for first place. You're on a 4-game winning streak. Talk to me about the team right now, how well they're playing.
Yeah, so honestly, the team, like Paul was saying, it's all about chemistry, right? I think more than being able to point maybe individual guys in the team, I think I can't even just say like one of our guys is doing all the job. I think it's been a teamwork so far, and it's been working really good for us. We're tied at second place with Humber, which is what I expected was going to be our toughest competition. But Fanshawe, Humber, and George Brown haven't played each other yet, so I think this weekend's going to be interesting for them because all three of them play each other. So the table, the standings could probably change this weekend.
Yeah, and before I get into your weekend, and I'll tell everybody that the Saints men's baseball team will be at home at Lacoste Park this weekend. So if you want to see some really good college baseball, check it out. I'll get you more information on that in just a moment. But talk to me about the playing personnel, if you can, Coach Duncan. Any players that maybe they've even caught you off guard and playing above or beyond what you thought they were going to do this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So from our returning guys, last year I had one of my relievers. His name is Sam McKinley. So he threw maybe like 4 or 5 innings throughout the whole season. And this year he turned around, and right now he's got the best ERA on the team. He's got the most strikeouts. He's tied for wins there too. So he's really been really great for us. Then we also have, from the new guys, I have Owen Finley from Tecumseh. So, yeah. I mean, I knew he was going to make a difference on the team, but he's really surprised not just me, all the coaching staff, the new players, and he became an everyday guy. And it's just he started being the 8 hitter. He's now 5-hole, and I just have been able to move him from there because my 4 and 5 guys are just as good, right? So. Those 2 guys from the pitching and the hitting side have been just pretty impressive this year.
All right, quickly, I want to let our viewers know, you mentioned the standings, Coach Duncan. We're going to take a quick look at them right now, the baseball standings. And you can see that Fanshawe has played 10 games. St. Clair has played 2 less games than them. Humber is the team you mentioned. But boy, you look at the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams there. All very good records. The competition level this year, I think, Coach, might be a little bit deeper than in recent years. Fair to say that.
And you know what, Dom, you're right. When I'll tell you which team gave me a good surprise was George Brown. When I did a little bit of research, studied a little bit of the team before we even played him, they did some good recruiting on the offseason, and you can see on the standings how good they're doing right now. Pretty impressed how the team turned around, because if I'm not wrong, they probably end up maybe last or second to last year, and it's great what they're doing there. The same thing with Centennial. Centennial, I believe, was last year, and they're there. We were supposed to play Centennial on this past Sunday, but we got rained out. So I'm interested to see what they have. They have a couple good guys there that. Were supposed to come play for us, and then they decided to go other route with Centennial, and the one guy at least he's leading the team in won games, and I think his batting average is good too. So it's good. It's good that the league's it's getting there. It's really good baseball.
Yeah, competition is a good thing for sure. And the guy that didn't come to St. Clair, shame on him. And I hope maybe down the road we get to bite him in the butt for not coming here and teach him a lesson. But decisions have to be made, and I give the man full marks for taking a chance like that. Because no better place to play than St. Clair. I don't care what anybody says.
At least he's doing good for himself, So it's, at least I always say, I hope I don't regret. So we'll see. He's going to have to pitch against us. So we'll see.
Okay, we'll see. That'll be interesting. This weekend, let's talk about this weekend, Coach. A couple more games for you. You've got Seneca on Friday, 5 and 7:30 game starts there at Lacoste Park for our viewers here at home, and Sheridan on Saturday, 4 and 6 p.m. I mean, it's always double back-to-back double headers. No strange thing to the league, so I'm not even going to ask you how tough is it to play, but what are you expecting this weekend?
This weekend, Sheridan is in second to last, so I hope that we are not going to have to use so much pitching this weekend against Sheridan. Seneca, I've seen, the record is not the best, but every single game that they've lost have been close games so far. They lost both games against Durham by 1 run. I think they lost a game against Fanshawe, who was first by 1 run. So I'm gonna go with Evan Ferguson on game 1, and then Cody Moore on game 2, and then I'm gonna have Cam O'Reilly and Sam McKinley on Saturday against Sheridan. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting weekend. Again, it's important for us to win these 4 games, because if we win these 4 games, I'm convinced that we're going to be first in the table, because Fanshawe, Humber, and George Brown are going to have a tough one, because again, they're playing all 3 of them are playing each other this weekend, and the table could flip this weekend really big.
Well, the thing is, I guess, as you know, Coach Duncan, you've been in sports a long time. You control your own destiny here. You just go out and do what you got to do and let the chips fall. But it sounds like if you do take care of business here, you're going to be in a good spot heading into the stretch run. Of course, St. Clair will be hosting the OCA Men's Baseball Championships. That's later in October. That's going to be another exciting event. That's going to be great for our area. With that, Coach, how about, again, I know you're familiar with it, but playing in the fall and this fall weather. Right now, it's really nice. I think the players don't mind it. But, boy, come later October and that, it gets pretty interesting with the rain and the wind and things like that. It's not the best time of year for baseball as far as weather goes.
No, so far has been good to us, except for that rain day on Sunday. But I think it's been warmer than it has been previous years around this time. And I'm happy that we're hosting provincials, because I think the weather is going to be better than playing up in Oshawa or in Toronto. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good baseball, because it's going to be, weather is going to be in favor of everyone. So looking forward to that.
All right, Coach, I'm going to let you get going. Appreciate your time. I'll look forward to seeing you at the ballpark this weekend, as We Digital will be broadcasting the games. Excited about that. And I'll get to talk to you face-to-face. So sorry about your luck on that one.
No problem. Hopefully by that time your coffin is better. So
yeah, it will be. I promise. It will be. Appreciate the time, though, today. Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Thank you for your support, Dom.
Yeah, that's Coach Roberto Duncan of the men's baseball team. Before we get to our final stop on the show, quick update with women and men's soccer. Men are at 2-2 right now in their season. They'll be at Humber and Sheridan this weekend on the road. The women will be on the road as well, Humber and Sheridan. The women won their first game this past week against Conestoga, so congratulations to Steve Vanini and the ladies there. They're sitting at 1-2-1 so far in their schedule in a rebuilding year. So Coach Vanini's got them, I think, progressing pretty good at this point. We wish both the men and women good luck this weekend on the road. It's going to be a tough one for the men with Humber. No doubt about it. We saw that game here in Windsor was extremely chippy. It's going to be a very intense game, and the men, unfortunately, are banged up pretty good right now. So Coach Mike Baraslewski going to have to work some magic there to make some good things happen. Going to finish off the show, it's last segment, as we do each week here on Saints Sports, with the Saints football team. Happy to report their road schedule is done. They completed it this past week, a game in Hamilton, which they won. They improved to 7-0. They'll finish off their schedule this upcoming weekend Coach Mike Lachance, as he does each week, joins us on the show. Good day to you, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Dom. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was very happy to see that the victory over Hamilton. We had talked about it last week, Coach, that the game in Hamilton was very important because it could have been a playoff preview. And now I think if I did my research properly, Hamilton will be your first round opponent in the playoffs.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. Tough opponent.
Yeah, and this is a team that has played you tough. While you've beat up on some other teams, including London this year, Hamilton's probably been the stingiest. What makes them that difficult, Coach?
It's a well-coached team, and they always give themselves a chance when you're well-coached. So I think they're going to be in most games that they play just because of that fact. And then they've got a couple really high-end guys on defense. Their secondary is very talented, so they could kind of man up on some of our receiving packages and kind of bring some heat. They've got an outstanding linebacker, probably one of the better players in the league, Isaiah Joseph. So they present some problems, but we'll keep working and we'll keep preparing the guys and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, that's the way to approach it. Quick overview of the game in Hamilton on the weekend, Coach. It was a Sunday game, so a little bit different that way, but just the same. I'm sure you prepare the guys no matter what the same way. But just an overview of the game where you thought was key and how you secured the victory.
Yeah, we came out. We wanted to establish ourselves physically, and we really ran the ball well. In the first half, we had 17 first downs, and John Cartier had another really good game, in particular the first half. We did a good job. I think it was up. We're up 23-0 at the half. Second half, I don't know if we got a little complacent. I know they went to a 5-man front on the defensive line. They went to a 5-3, and it kind of gave us a little bit of trouble. We didn't prepare much for it, and I don't think our adjustments on the coaching staff, I don't think I did a good enough job adjusting offensively. So I think we kept banging our head against the wall, so to speak, and didn't really move the ball well in the second half. We only had a couple first downs, and it was tough in the second half. They got a couple late touchdowns to make the score look a little closer than maybe it was. They scored twice in the last 4 minutes of the game. But offensively, like I said, we're a tale of two halves, really. We did a really good job, and I was really happy with the first half, and I was very concerned with our play in the second half, so we'll have to sharpen up.
Coaching. I thought the Lions only had problems coaching.
We all did.
My Lord. Not to the Lions degree, that's for sure. Let's get into this weekend, Coach, and we kind of alluded to this last week. GTA, a team that's really struggling, sitting 0-7. Take a quick look at the standings, if Evan can bring those up for me as we talk about this upcoming game for you. But GTA has been a team that has really struggled in recent years. You could see the standings here, 0-7. And I know we talked about this several times at the field, Coach, things like that. How do you approach this game? And I say that because this game obviously is a lopsided tilt. Do you rest players? Do you want to get some players in? Because you're going to have a bye week and then you get your playoff game. So it's going to be a good substantial amount of time before you play that playoff game.
We've been resting starters, it seems, the last handful of weeks, not in particular just to rest them, but because they're nursing some injuries. So we want them healthy for the playoffs. Tynan Bray Miller hasn't played in a couple games. Dalmas Lynch hasn't played in a couple. T.H. Holmes hasn't played in a couple. We went into that game on the weekend with 5 defensive starters and 1 primary backup that plays quite a few reps. So 6 guys that are very substantial players on our defense. The defense still did a great job. But it'll be much the same this week. If guys are healthy enough to go, and it looks like Lynch will be back in the lineup and possibly Holmes, Tynan will be out another week. But we'll rest guys if we need to. And if guys are ready, we're going to treat it with the same respect we do every game. We're going to treat it like it's a championship game. We're going to come out all cylinders going and foot to the floor.
And again, I have no disrespect to GTA here, Coach, but I know you've always been a very classy and respectful coach. But how important is it to get your regulars in? We talked about this last year. We thought maybe, not to make excuses, but not getting the guys in every game doesn't help the situation. It doesn't help the development. Do you think the guys have played enough this year to get them to the level you want them to be? Because you've talked about how you want to see improvement each week. But if they're not playing, it's hard to figure it out.
Yeah, like I said, we had a second half in Hamilton that we weren't happy with, so there's some things that we need to work on. And if starters are healthy, starters will go, and we're going to play it like it's a championship game. Like I said, we're playing every game that way, and we're taking it week to week. And whatever the score is, and that doesn't mean we're going to run it up. Everyone's going to play if we get up. Hopefully, we get to that point where I let everybody get on the field and get some snaps in front of family and friends. But my priority as the head coach of St. Clair College is for the betterment of St. Clair Saints football. So we're going to do what we have to do to get better.
The bye weeks are probably coming at a good time then, right, Coach? Fair to say that? Get some guys healthy again?
Yeah, it helps. I think it helps everybody. I think everyone's a little banged up right now. If you look around the league, there's a few starters out. And I imagine most teams are in the same boat as we are. We're fortunate to have a lot of depth to get us through some moments and be 7-0 at this point with all the injuries we've had, because we probably had quite a few more this year than even last year, which was we were injury ridden. But this year we've had more. You just don't notice it because the depth of our roster, which is outstanding. But going in the playoffs, yeah, you want to be hitting on all cylinders. You're going to play really good teams. There's no easy outs. Hamilton's going to be a tough first round matchup, probably as tough as we've had in the recent future anyway, since we've been in first place. That's a tough 1-4 matchup. And then those two teams in the 2-3 spot, you've got the two-time defending champ, and you've got an Ottawa team that looks like they're believing in what they're doing, and that's always tough to play.
Mm-hmm. How tough, Coach, not to look beyond this game with GTA this weekend and to that playoff game, because you know who your opponent is already. Do you start working towards that?
We have been. I'm not going to lie. Don't sugarcoat it. You know that. Pretty much what you see is what you get. We've been preparing for Hamilton. We're watching film on Hamilton right now. We'll play GTA like they are Hamilton, even though schematically they're a little bit different. But we're mentally prepared for that first round, so we'll be ready for it. It's not hard to get guys up. It really isn't. This team's pretty motivated. I think part of that motivation is every day in practice they compete with each other as teammates, and you've got guys behind you that if they're behind you, they're just slightly behind you. And if you don't put the foot to the floor, like I said earlier, and go full speed ahead, you got a guy catching up to you. So guys want their reps, and they want to stay in practice, and they want to play well in the game to show up.
Dan Campbell and his decision, Coach. Everybody's talking about it around here.
Yeah, that was a tough one. A lot tougher than I think people give it credit for. When you punt like that with time running down, you still give a guy like Kirk Cousins a chance to get in the field goal range. And if they're only down by 3, they probably are mindset to get into field goal range and tie it up at least. Being the way it was, they gave him even better field positioning, gave him a touchdown as a possibility. But I don't know. I could see that decision going both ways. I mean, the guy goes for it and doesn't get it, and everybody would complain. If he kicks a field goal and misses it, everybody's going to complain. I think it's the nature of football.
Well, it is. If it works out for the Lions, Dan Campbell's a genius, right?
Heck, when Hamilton was in town earlier in the season, we went for it on 3rd and 1 from
Right.
26.
Right.
If I don't get that, everybody thinks I lost my mind. But when we get it, everybody thinks the other way, right? So it's one of those things where you try to trust your gut, and if it doesn't work out, I don't know if I would have admitted on TV that I didn't believe in my decision. I think I died on that hill, but that's Coach Campbell.
No way anybody could ever think that Coach Lachance is losing his mind. No way.
I'm not losing my hair, but I am losing my mind.
That's part of that's what happens with the job, Coach. So
exactly.
The fact that you don't have any gray hair yet just blows me away, actually. So you're doing a great job that way. So, and I think you're doing a great job with some of the decisions. So
thanks, Coach.
Keep it up. We'll look forward to seeing you Sunday, Coach. You know what? Finish out, hopefully. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, but got to give GTA their due. Hopefully you finish out with a perfect 8-0 season, though. That would be a great accomplishment in itself. And, yeah, the playoffs are next. So exciting times for the Saints football team, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll talk next week, Coach. Appreciate it.
Tom, I appreciate it.
All right, that's Coach Mike Lachance of the football team. So what we have coming up this weekend here at We Digital, busy weekend for us, and certainly we're always excited about it. Of course, we'll be doing the OCA baseball stuff on Friday evening. Again, the Saints will be hosting Seneca. Game times are at 5 and 7:30 p.m. And I always say it, folks. We're certainly happy if you watch our broadcasts. We think we do a pretty good presentation, but I always say it's better to be at the ballpark or better to be at the stadium. So if you can make it out, this is good baseball, really good baseball. Get out and support the Saints at Lacoste Park and enjoy some really good collegiate baseball. But if you're not able to make it, please tune into our broadcasts at We Digital. OCA baseball again on Saturday, another doubleheader with Sheridan, 4 and 6 p.m. our game times. And then we finish it off with football on Sunday afternoon at Acumen Stadium, home of the Saints, an outstanding venue. You can see it in the background here. We'll have all the action starting at 2 p.m., close out the regular season with the Saints. That's this edition of Saints Sports. Hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in again next week. We'll talk more Saints athletics. We'll get some soccer talk in there. We'll also check in with the softball team, and we'll get you ready for the Saints football playoff run, that's for sure. Should be a good show. Until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll talk to you all again very soon. Until then, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great day.